Hey guys, what's going on? Well, what's going on with me? I'm just comfy right now, lying in my bed, and today I wanted to talk about what exactly it's like having Asperger's because I feel like it's one of the main reasons why I'm NEET, or it's definitely a huge contributing factor, just because of how hard it makes it to interact with people. And yeah, anyways, I just wanted to I guess before I get into like the main topic of the video, I just wanted to say that I actually haven't had a proper diagnosis for this condition, but I highly suspect that I do have it for several I guess of the behaviors I seem to exhibit. And I have a lot of stories that I could tell about my Asperger's, but anyways, yeah, today I'm probably just going to be talking about a lot of the behaviors I exhibit, and which makes me think I have this condition. But yeah, anyways, here goes. So the first thing is that well, as someone with Asperger's, I really, one of the main things is that well, people with Asperger's seem to have really diminished social skills, and I definitely suffer from this to an extent. And I feel like as far as social skills go, most normal people will learn them over time and develop normally as a result. And unless they have don't have enough interactions with people. But for me, it's not like I grew up in a cave, or I don't know, like locked up in some basement somewhere. Like I actually went to school and stuff, and I had friends. I had interactions with a lot of kids, but at the same time, I never seemed to learn these proper skills to interact with people, unlike most kids, or I never learned at the proper pace. So yeah, that's, I guess, one side of me having Asperger's. And anyways, I guess these social skills can be broken down into a number of different skills, which I guess I currently have a lot of deficits in, and I guess I'll list them briefly, and I guess list and describe them briefly. So the first one would probably have to do with something called theory of mind, and it's basically referring to this sort of skill to kind of think from another person's perspective. And it's not like empathy where it's about like the emotions, but it's more about like kind of like logically thinking about how another person would think. And this is something that most people are able to do, but for me, I often struggle with this, and my brain often draws the wrong conclusions, or I just never bother trying to think from another person's perspective. And as a result, it can cause me to say things which are either really awkward and out of context and just strange, and or it can make me say things that are just outright offensive, and me not even know it. Like I'll say really unintentionally offensive things, or maybe not things that are universally offensive, but things that I might just bring up something that another person is highly sensitive to that I should have picked up about, but I didn't figure it out. And then that person might think that, like, I don't know, I'm trying to like confront them or something, or like offend them, but in reality it's because I'm not doing it intentionally. It's like, for example, like it's because I'm trying to like make small talk, like I'm just trying to make small talk, but I'll just say whatever thought comes into my mind because I'm desperate for it to like, I don't know, break the silence. But like my brain, my Asperger's brain won't scan the thought through like normally, and I'll just say something that's completely offensive to this person, like I don't know, like yeah, I'm not getting into examples now because it'll make the video too long, but yeah, that's the first thing. And related to that is probably, I guess, the ability to read like, like social context. Like I won't take into account like the broader like social environment or social context, and as a result that'll also cause me to act in ways which are not like the crowd, except I won't even realize it because I feel like you have to fit in to a certain extent when you're um, dealing with normies or normal people. But at the same time, yeah, I'm not able to do that, and I just say things that are completely out of place. I don't dress the way everyone else is dressing. Like I don't dress appropriately. I might be at a formal event, and but I might be talking like too casually. Like I hope you know what I mean. And yeah, there's that. Like it's definitely another issue with Asperger's. Other thing is not only the ability to read social context, but just social cues in general. And by social cues, I mean like all of the like like the different like communications, like I guess specifically like non-verbal stuff. Like my ability to read that stuff is like really like diminished. Like it doesn't register. It doesn't like I guess people react naturally to an extent, and I do I guess to like really like obvious stuff, like really like clear anger. But when it comes to like the more like subtle things, like maybe like frustration, or maybe like a person's getting like starting to get bored, like I'll only figure it out when they're like not like paying attention or they just ignore me, but I don't like catch it in between. And like things like body language, or oftentimes I'll misread that, or I'll think someone's interested in me when really they're just being polite. And yeah, just stuff like that. So yeah, obviously that causes a lot of like misunderstandings, or for me to maybe I don't know, I might try and hang out with some like people maybe, but in reality they're not interested. But then I'm not sure, like I won't pick that up, so then I'll just be a nuisance. Or maybe I'll say something that offends someone, and then I won't pick that up, and I'll continue down that sort of line of conversation instead of changing it like a normal person would, and it'll just irritate them. So I don't pick up on these like nonverbal communications. And like I guess like things like eye contact, and body posture, and facial expressions, like micro expressions and things like that. Like I don't pick them up naturally, so I just yeah, that's another thing that leads me to believe that I'm Aspie. And so it's not just the reading part, but it's also the expressing part too, because I feel like social skills is kind of like a language, and there's the reading part, and then there's the speaking, or like the listening and the speaking. So the speaking would be like me actually doing these social skills. Like, so for example, things like eye contact, like never really came naturally to me. I feel like normal people make eye contact very easily, apart from like the whole like stare down like thing that people do in the streets. I don't know, like what is that even about? Like to assert dominance or like whatever? Like why do people just like stare you down sometimes? Like yeah, like maybe that like people know what that is, or people just do it unconsciously. But for me, it's like I'm always thinking like, why is this person staring me down? Like it just happens a lot. So maybe that's another sign. Like I'm not talking about like when people in a room like all stare at me for like doing something weird, although that has happened to me sometimes. But it's more like when that like one person is like maybe like across from the gym or something, just like staring at you. Like it's weird. Like I don't know. But yeah, but in terms of eye contact, I tend to be really uncomfortable with it. And just talking to people, like I've started to make more of an effort to like make eye contact, and when I'm speaking to people in real life. But when I was growing up, I remember someone once told me that asked me why I never make eye contact, and it was true because whenever I was talking to people, especially in high school and maybe even like beginning of university, I basically would stare like this, like pretend the camera lens is like you're like you looking at me, like I'm making eye contact. Like I'm doing that now, but not even now. But before I'd have my head turned or I'd look down or somewhere, and then I feel like it would really throw people off. But before, it never occurred to me that you're supposed to make eye contact with people when you talk to them. So I would just stare, and like it seemed like I'm not paying attention to them when I'm talking, or when I was talking to them and like not listening. Like yeah, like when I was listening, I wouldn't make eye contact, so people would think I'm not paying attention. Or when I was talking to them, I would like talk to them, but my eyes would not be looking at them, so it'd just be really weird. So yeah, there's that. And the other thing is things like facial expressions. I always have. I've never really had a wide range of facial expressions, but I feel like this has caused a lot of misunderstandings because, yeah, like I have, I guess like resting bitch face. I know someone talking about this too, but yeah, like I definitely have too when talking to people in real life, and like yeah, it's resting bitch face in the sense that like my eyes are just like it's almost like a flat, like robotic look. Like it's known as like a flattened affect, and I think I'm pretty sure I suffer from this, and I feel like it's not only that, but it's not just my resting face which looks angry, but it's that I never actually like do any like facial expressions. Like I won't smile, or like when I think I'm smiling, but I'm actually going like just the bare minimum of a smile, but to me it feels like I'm smiling because I don't know, like my face is basically in the same position like my whole life. And well, yeah, or like I never show emotions, and this causes a lot of complications because I feel like you're supposed to convey your emotions through your face, and because I don't do this, people either think I hate them, I'm pissed at them, or I misunderstand them, or no, or that I'm not really interested in what they're saying. And yeah, that's definitely a huge problem with not having not being able to engage in that particular social skill and do it properly. And because all this is really just like social communication, right? I basically suck at social communication, and that's like why I think I have Aspergers, or I'm pretty sure I do. And I guess as far as that stuff goes, the last thing that I'm not very good at is related to facial expressions is body posture, because I always keep the same body posture, and yeah, my posture is shit, although that may have more to do with like bullying and stuff and less to do with Asperger's. So but I'm always slouched over, and I don't, maybe body posture has less to do with Asperger's and more to do with like your social status and stuff, like. But yeah, anyways, I won't talk about that. So I guess the last thing is that because I have really poor like social skills, it's like I can't, like, conversations never flow naturally to me, so I'll always have to like, basically for me, I always have to run these social scripts. So like if I go to the store, I'll have to run like the store script where I always pretty much say the exact same thing every time I buy something from like the supermarket. I'm checking at the cashier, I'll go like, oh, I'll say thank you, or like, I don't know, like I'll have to load that script where the person's like, I'm like pre-thinking what I'm gonna say in my mind. And I like it when I can expect the conversation to flow the same way every time, like at the cashier, for example. But when it's I'm talking to an actual person, I'll still do the same thing, and I'll react the same way. And it's like I'm reading lines off of a script, and it's like I've developed a lot of different scripts for different situations, but obviously they're not perfect. And because, well, they'll never be as good as someone talking naturally like a normal person. And yeah, I just, it makes it really hard to talk to people. And yeah, so there's that. Like, so, like, I tend to have like these verbal tics too, where I'll say like true, true, or like yeah, yeah, like this, like I don't know, like you can like yeah, like is one of them. Although, well, that has more to do with like my shitty public speaking skills. But yeah, things like true is something I'll say a lot. It's just my default response to everything, my default like catch-all script, because it's basically like my agreement script, but instead of like having like different words that I alternate between because I'm thinking on the fly like a normal person, I just say the same thing every time. And because it's like I don't actually like I don't know, I listen, but then it's like I don't formulate a proper response or like continue the conversation. Like I'll just say like true, true, or yeah, oh okay, that's true, true, and then it's like I want to say more, but it's like I have a hard time like thinking normally and coming up with normal things. And because of like my lack of social awareness and context, like I tend to say really weird, off-putting things, so that maybe that's why I default to these social scripts. And I guess another thing is that well, forgot what I was going to say. It's not on my like notepad thing that I came up with like mid, like I don't know, like video. I don't know, whatever. I'll just let it go. But anyways, all these lack of social skills leads me to have a really hard time forming connections with people, and because of all the misunderstandings, it creates. Like, if I'm not making someone uncomfortable, then like I feel like sometimes people will give me the benefit of the doubt and they'll try and think I'm they'll try and be friends with me, they'll show interest, or they'll smile and do all these things. But because I don't pick up on the social cues, I'll either miss it, or if I do pick up on it, I won't do the proper behaviors to indicate interest, like smile back, talk more, and do all these things. Like I have to consciously think about these things versus it happening naturally for people. So I don't know, I think that's definitely indicative of the fact that I have like some sort of Asperger's, or if not Asperger's, some really like strong social skills deficit that I need to work on. But because maybe my social skills deficit is because of my Asperger's. So yeah, I guess that's that. And the only other thing I would add is that I feel like I relate to a lot of the things that are on the r/Asperger's subreddit, and that's another reason why like I pretty much relate to like 90% of what's on there. And another thing is that I tend to get really obsessed about things, or I'll hyper focus on like 2 or 3 like hobbies instead of being like well-rounded like the average person is, and pay attention to all facets of my life, like grooming, fashion, and stuff like that, things that would help me be a I don't know, productive citizen. Because I feel like to be a functioning like normie, you have to be like at least decent, or not decent even, just like mediocre at like maybe a whole bunch of different like skills, like grooming, fashion, cleaning, talking, and all these things, and for me it's like I'm hyper, not necessarily like good at, but like I'm hyper focused on like 2 or 3 that maybe I'm better than the average like mediocre person at, but not by much. But then everything else I'm just shit at, like grooming, taking care of myself, having friendships, maintaining relationships. So yeah, anyways, the video is probably kind of long now, so I'm gonna end it. And hope you guys enjoyed that. And yeah, just feeling a little down right now because I broke a 6-day nofap streak, and felt good in the moment, but now I have no energy. So yeah, I'll be back to my old self. Hopefully next video, assuming that I stay on another streak. But anyways, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed me talking, and yeah, this is Comfy Neat signing out.